It actually started with our text thread today. And Grandy kind of sort of made it sound like you're looking at certain reporters and maybe you can kind of figure out who they're talking to based on what they're saying.
Right.
And so I don't need to get into the details of it, but he's kind of like Monty Poole is probably putting out this side's thought, and Tim Kawakami might be putting out this side's thought. And then you kind of weighed in with what Joe Lacob might want out there in the public.
Yep.
And I'm listening to all this, and I'm going, this is not the way that it should go. In fact, the end of the New Yorker article with Steve Kerr was what? It was literally him saying, whenever it happens, it'll go well. Well, I'm here to say it's not going well. That's actually how I feel.
Not so far, yeah.
It's not going well if in any way, shape, or form, and I know people will call in and go, dynasties never end well, Mark, and that might be true, but the bottom line is this for me. If in any way, shape, or form, Steve Kerr and or Joe Lacob, if what they're doing right now is trying to win the PR battle, I find that wildly disappointing. That is not the way this should end. That is not the way Steve Kerr's time, a 4-time championship coach in this city. I don't care what you think about Anthony Lamb. I don't care. This is not what should be happening at the end or at any point where the coach and the organization are out and about trying to win PR, trying to make it sound a certain way. Whose decision is it? Whose fault is it? What's the reason? Is it that we want him to shut up and stop talking politics? Oh, we don't want that out there. So now we got to make it look like it's Steve's decision, even if we are kind of bumping him a little bit and making it tough. And then Steve's over here. He's kind of like, I'll accept. Let's do a massive interview with the New Yorker and talk about anything. You know, Kawakami said yesterday in his article that Dylan Hernandez, who's kind of one of the Kawakamis down in L.A.,
yep,
he was like, if you're not leaving, why would you even say yes to that interview? So my antennas are up because it sounds like everyone's trying to win a PR war. I find that wildly disappointing.
I mean, what else do you want from this, though? I mean, it's not – I don't think it's a PR war from Steve Kerr. I mean, he gets a chance to speak about a lot of things to the New Yorker, and he does so. So I don't know if he needs to, like, defend himself or say things that he can't say as the head coach. And so I don't see that as the PR battle on that front. But the fact that this is now dragging on to – I mean, we're coming up on week
3.
2. I mean, it'll be 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks since they actually got eliminated, tomorrow.
Yeah, but this is going to go another week.
It will go another week. And I can't help but think about Bruce Bochy where, you know, Bochy, they had the playoff berth in 16 and they lost. And then 17 was not great. 18, not good. And then 19, oh my God, the writing's on the wall. And then he's gone. And then he goes on to, you know, manage elsewhere. So this feels a little bit to me like that in a maybe more highly publicized way, where if they're going to nudge him out and it's going to happen this way, I mean, maybe it happens now, maybe it happens next year. I don't know.
And that's not surprising to you?
It is surprising.
Yeah.
It's surprising, but it's also not surprising.
Why?
Because,
how so?
Because Joe Lacob is a guy who is a self-made billionaire.
Yeah.
He's a guy who came from nothing and he made, you know, thousands and then millions and then billions, and he built this thing and he hung 4 banners. And I'm going to say that he hung 4 banners, but he never, I don't believe, ever made a basket in the NBA. But in his mind, he built this and he's done this. And so now you get to this spot where, you know, you think that you can move forward with, all right, Steph will be gone at some point. Draymond will too. Steve will too. And I'll find the next Steph and I'll find the next Steve and I'll find the next Draymond and I'll keep this thing rolling.
I love the text that we just got from 925. This is really good. This is, so they write, Willard, should, ? Of course not. Does? Yeah, more often than not. So shame on me. Shame on me for the fairy tale that was in my head, where the Golden State Warriors and Steve Kerr and Steph Curry and Draymond Green, so respectful of what was achieved in this building, and the other building for that matter too, that the group would kind of get together and be on the same page and kind of say to Steve Kerr, like, we're going to trust that you know when it's the right time to go, and you get to go whenever the hell you want to go. Here's some things that we'd like to see, but other than that, like, let us know what we can do for you. And you deserve that. You deserve to kind of write your own ending here. And we're going to trust that you're not going to damage us in that process, which I think if anybody has earned that trust, it's Steve Kerr. He literally said that in the New Yorker article. He started it with that. He's like, I'm so respectful of this organization, and I don't want to stay too long. Well, my response to that is, as a fan, I would have loved for ownership to just be like, you know what, dude, you've earned that. So let us know when you think it's time for you to go. And until then let's figure it out. I'm not saying like carte blanche, you get to own the team now, right, but let's figure that out. You deserve to go whenever the hell you want to go. And for everybody who's like, maybe he wants to go now, at minimum, he's not sure. At minimum, he's like, I'm not sure, right, that it, because he's still sitting here golfing and thinking. So that's all. I'm disappointed if we have arrived, and I'm not even 100% sure that we have, but if we've arrived at a spot where the Lacobs and the Dunleavys of the world are trying to shape this and get on the phone with people named Monty and Tim, and then Steve and his agent are trying to shape this, and they're taking interviews with the New Yorker. And all of this is in some, like, get Momo on the phone. All of this is in some sort of an effort to make it look right on my side. I hate that. I hate that. That's not how this should be going.
No, and I don't think that it's going to ever look right on their side if that's what they're trying to do. Like the Lacob and Dunleavy side, if they're trying to shade this that way, and Steve leaves, and whatever Steve does, if it's like network TV or college coaching, or, I mean, maybe he sits out a year like Boch, and then he goes out and he coaches some other team, it's going to look bad on them no matter what, I think. If Steve leaves and he goes out and does other things, I wonder if this isn't as simple as Steve just doesn't know. Like, Steve is looking at it, and it's 12 years, and you're 60, and you've done so many great things, and you've been in the league now for, whatever, 40 years, basically. You've been in the association, so maybe it's just as simple as, like, he wants to think about it and figure it out.
Does it feel that simple to you?
It does.
See, it does not.
Yeah.
And I could not say anything more firmly to it does not feel that way to me. And the reasons that I would point to are, A, everything he's said his entire time here. As Exhibit A, I will never leave Steph Curry. Okay, that's Exhibit A.
Fine.
Exhibit B, I still love coaching. I still want to coach. I firmly believe that if he leaves now, while he will not coach next year, I do believe he'll coach again. I absolutely believe it. We're acting like 60 is 80. Steve is not done in this league. Steve is not going to just golf and be grandpa. I don't believe that. So please let's not do he's going to retire to spend more time with the family. Like, that's never been true with anybody ever. There's time. They got an off season. They got plenty of resources. They can see their family. I see this with, as complicated as it must be, a 2-hour meeting that leads to just the setting of another one. There is something at issue here. So if Steve, if it were that simple, I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it as that simple, because if it were that simple, then there really wouldn't even be a need to meet.
He'd be gone.
Then Joe, or not. Joe and Mike could just be like, let us know. Like, you want to meet? Okay, here's the meeting. What do you want to do? That's it. Let us know. And all right, go golf. But the meeting went 2 hours. What are they talking about?
Right. And I mean, whatever they talked about clearly didn't get resolved either way, to where Steve said, like, no, I can't do that. And they said, well, this is what we want, and so you have to go. Or Steve said, yeah, I'm really into that. And they said, cool, then you go ahead and sign up for it. But I do think that it's a bigger picture than that. And I don't want to get too deep into what I think about Steve Kerr and his life, but his life has been basketball. And, you go back to 1980 when his dad got assassinated, or maybe it was later than that, but Steve Kerr has been a guy in basketball, and he's done this year after year after year, and you get to be 60 and you think about, okay, whatever. I've got between 0 and 100, 40 years left to live. What do I want to do? I mean, that's a little bit deeper than hey, 1 year deal or 2 year deal and Steph and whatever.
See, and to me, it feels like there's plenty of time for that because Steph Curry's career doesn't have a whole lot of time left. 925 Willard keeps bringing up Kerr saying that he'll never leave Steph. I don't think that means he'd never retire before Steph. I'll take that as I'll never leave to coach another team while Steph is playing. An interesting point, but you used the word retire. And that's what I'm saying. I don't believe he's retiring. I've never heard him say that. You know what I mean?